Okay, well, welcome to Deeper Talks on Amelia Earhart today, and thank you for spending time with us to learn a little bit more about Amelia Earhart. Before we get started, I just have two reminders about the two programs, campaigns that are coming up. Right now we have the Every Member, Every November, and we have, as of about half hour ago, District 4 is number 14 on the challenge, and we have donated $1,228 so far to Every Member Every November. I would like to see us with the mini challenge. If we could have a challenge to get new people that have never given to the Zonta International Fund. The challenge is the challenge number 2, and it's from November 20th, November 10th to November 20th. So if we could kind of talk that up, let your people in your club know if they would donate between those times, we might win that challenge. But we're off to a good start. And there is on the Zonta District 4 website, Sheena has this on the main webpage. So you can go in to our website, you can look at the Every Member, Every November, and everything's set up there that you can look at, and click the link for the donation and learn more about the program. And then there is the 16 Days of Activism coming up, and that is also on the D4 website on the main page that you can learn about the 16 Days of Activism and what the district is doing. The advocacy chair with, the advocacy committee with Julie Brown and Roy Robinson helping have devised the 16 Days of Activism for our district with what to do every day. What we can do, there's a PowerPoint presentation and for social media. So you can look at that on the D4 website to prepare your clubs for the Zonta Says No, the 16 Days of Activism. I think that's it. So we'll get started with Holly Anderson, is the District 4 Amelia Earhart Chair. Her committee is Lori Freeman from the Zonta Club of Erie and Dottie Ketchum-Coletta from the Zonta Club of Hamburg Orchard Park. That worked with this Amelia Earhart. I think Lori Freeman is new to the committee. Donna Ketchum-Coletta has done it for years, and Holly has been part of it for a long time too. And there's a special reason why Holly has done it for a long time, and I'm sure she'll let us know why. But we welcome her. She's also the Zonta International Amelia Earhart Chair for Zonta International. So I'll turn it over to Holly so her and her committee can get started on Zonta International Amelia Earhart Fellowship and learn more about it.
Thanks, Janice. And I guess the reason that I'm been involved for a really long time is a very long time ago I won the award. So, but it's changed a lot since I won it. So it's my pleasure to do this, to start off this presentation, and then I will invite the other members of the committee, Donna and Lori, to present their part after I do the general introduction on the fellowship itself. And the purpose of this presentation, if you could go to the next slide, please, Sheena. The purpose of the presentation is to talk about to explain to people what the fellowship is, how it started, and how we can raise awareness of the fellowship among the clubs, and how we can also raise funds, hopefully, and why we need to raise funds for the fellowship. So the Amelia Earhart program was launched in 1938, and it commemorates groundbreaking aviator and Zontian, Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart was a member of, she joined, I believe, the Boston Club at first, and then she moved to the New York Club. Ellen Parks, then serving in 1938 as the Zont International president, remembered that at that time, few women considered a career in aerospace, yet not one voice of doubt was raised as to the success of such a scholarship. So that's quite amazing in 1938. Next slide, please. Amelia Earhart was an American aviation pioneer and author. She was the first female to fly solo across the Atlantic. She set many, many other records. She was one of the founding members of the 99s, which is an organization for female pilots, and Margaret Walker of my club was a member of the 99s, because Margaret does have a pilot's license, or had a pilot's license as well. And she was the 16th woman in the US to be issued a pilot's license. She had several notable flights, including becoming the first woman to fly the Atlantic Ocean in 1928, as well as the first person to fly over both the Atlantic and Pacific. Next slide, please. She mysteriously disappeared in 1937 while trying to circumnavigate the globe from the equator, which was a really tough thing to do. And she was also going against the wind. So she was starting in the US and flying west, which was a very difficult thing to do. She was legally declared dead in 1939. Zont International was the only non-flying organization which she joined voluntarily. At the time of her disappearance, she had been a member of the Zonta Club of New York since 1930.
2, 3.
Sorry. Okay. So she disappeared over the Pacific, and you'll see a lot of TV shows about, you know, the search for Amelia, and they keep thinking that they've found her, but I don't think there's been any conclusive proof that they have found her bones or plane wreckage or anything. Next slide. Beyond Amelia's accomplishments as a pilot, which were astounding when you think of the time that she was living in, she wanted to make a statement about the role and worth of women. And she was very aware of what she was doing in terms of advocating for women's rights and position in society. She dedicated much of her life to prove that women could excel in their chosen professions. And some of her quotes that I find amazing relate to the improvement in the status of women. I believe that a girl should not do what she thinks she should do, but should find out through experience what she wants to do. And women must do things as men have tried. When they fail, their failure must be a challenge to others. And I think that's very important for women, because a lot of times I think we tend to choose things that we know we can be successful in rather than challenging. So I think that she was a true leader in terms of seeing a place for women in the larger society. Next slide. In 1939, the 4,000 members of Zonta did an amazing thing. I think it's amazing. In honor of their missing member, they voted to establish a scholarship of $500 US, which was a lot of money at the time, to be awarded each year to a woman for graduate study in aeronautical engineering. Now, graduate study, there were not very many women in university, and there were certainly even fewer in graduate school. So to make the scholarship for a woman in graduate school was amazing. And the scholarship, as now, could be used in any school where aeronautical work of a high order or graduate degree was offered at the graduate level. This was an amazing decision at a time when few women were in any type of work outside the home. And the women of Zonta followed Amelia Earhart's beliefs that for women to lead in the new frontier of aviation, women would have to be educated to the same levels as men in that field. And that's the really significant thing that the members of Zonta did. In 1938 to 39, aerospace was still in its infancy. It took 2 years to find a single qualified applicant to receive the first fellowship, and the award selection committee had to mentor potential applicants to help them become qualified for the awards. Today, as evidence of the increasing numbers of women in aerospace engineering and space sciences, the challenge for Zonta is choosing the most promising women from the many qualified applicants. So last year we had 156 applicants. We can only choose 35. Well, 35 plus 5 alternates. And it's very difficult to make that choice. The fellowship is Zonta's longest running international service project. Since the inception of the program, there have been 1,638 fellowships, totaling 10.6 million US, given to 1,209 fellows from 73 countries. This fellowship enables women to move beyond the constraints of their birth to study at an advanced level abroad. And one trend that I've seen is that more and more women from other countries other than the US are receiving the award. Now, to be fair, most of the women study in either Europe, Australia, Japan, or the United States, but they come from countries all around the world. Amelia Earhart alumni have gone on to become astronauts, aerospace engineers, professors, planetary scientists, business owners, CEOs, university chancellors, Secretary of the Air Force, Director of the Carnegie Observatories, Director of the Lunar and Planetary Institute. Next slide. And this year, Andrea Ghez, Zonta International Amelia Earhart Fellow in 1987, won the Nobel Prize in Physics. So she co-won with Arthur Levine, and she co-won with Richard Genzel of Berkeley and the Max Planck Institute for Terrestrial Physics. And she researched effectively black holes. So they discovered a supermassive compact object at the center of our galaxy, which is a black hole. Many fellows have also become members of Zonta to support Zonta's efforts to provide educational opportunities for women and girls around the globe. Next slide. Who can apply and how? This is a little bit about how the fellowship works. Women of any nationality pursuing a PhD may apply if they're studying aerospace or space-related sciences. They must be registered in a full-time PhD program and have completed at least 1 year of the program or have received a master's degree in the field at the time their application is submitted. So we want them to have a little bit of traction on their PhD when they apply so that they can describe what they're studying better. Applications are now made online via the Award Spring platform directly to Zonta International. And they have to submit, so they have to upload their undergraduate and graduate transcripts, a description of their PhD program, and 3 letters of reference have to be independently uploaded. At least one has to come from their academic supervisor. And the due date is coming fast on November 15th. The program is run directly from Zonta International by the AE Fellowship Committee. The Fellowship Committee members are appointed by the Zonta International President for the biennium, and it should include a committee chair and a minimum of 2 members. The president and the president-elect are also ex officio members of the committee. And we represent a diversity of aerospace disciplines so that we can understand the applications when they come in and explain them to each other. The committee is responsible for primarily reviewing the applications and recommending to the board a slate of proposed recipients. Plus, we develop strategies to meet the program goals, prepare strategies to promote and disseminate information externally and internally about the program. We recommend changes to the program as needed, including updates and changes to the application forms. And we work with the board and headquarters staff to ensure the program goals are met. Next slide. Currently, the fellowship is funded from the annual donations from clubs and individual members. No funds come from our annual membership dues. Zonta International relies on the members in the districts to support the program by raising awareness of the fellowship among your members and educational institutions and young women in your district, and by fundraising for the program in your club and area gatherings. Next. And so on January 11th, 1935, Amelia Earhart made her record flight from Hawaii to California. So the 11th of January has been designated Amelia Earhart Day by Zonta International. And we encourage you to hold special AE programs in your clubs in January to raise awareness of the award. And you can use this presentation in your clubs. And in the next part of the talk, Donna and Lori Freeman will speak about fundraising ideas for your clubs. That's Donna, and raising awareness among young women about the benefits of post-secondary education in science, technology, and STEM studies. So next slide, please, and Donna will take it away.
Well, as you know, with COVID-19, a lot of past fundraisers, which would have included larger groups of people getting together to do an activity, have become obsolete during this time. Cruises, fortunately, when the COVID really the coronavirus reared its ugly head, Zonta normally would have had a cruise going at that time, and fortunately we did not. So I am going to make some suggestions on some virtual fundraisers that have been successful, not only for Zonta, but for other organizations in raising funds these monies could be 100% used for Amelia Earhart donation from a club, or it could be a portion of, as we know, ZI recommends that 1/3 of all fundraising events, the donation would be made to Zant International Foundation, or the Foundation for Women, our new terminology. I'm going to just really kind of quickly, but if you have more questions, please direct them to me either afterwards or personally. You can email me on them. One is just peer-to-peer fundraising seems to be very successful. One of them right now that's going on is the Hamburg Orchard Park has their annual case of wine chance drawing. If you're not a wine drinker, we also offer $100 worth of restaurant coupons to, not coupons, but gift cards to local residents. That drawing will be this Monday. We have 5 winners. There are 3 cases of wine and 2 restaurant winners. We will take a look at, as we draw the people who purchased chances, we will take a look at where they're living. If they are in Pennsylvania, I'm sure they don't want a Buffalo restaurant by and large. So we will make sure they got the case of wine versus something like a local restaurant for breakfast. The live stream demonstrations, cooking classes where they demonstrate appetizers for like Christmas, or how to put together a specific Italian dish, or possibly a dessert of the month. How this might work is that as you're doing this, you send them towards a place where they could make a donation online, and they can use either PayPal, Venmo, Stripe, or some of the other ones that we're using right. This evening I'm going to be working with Niagara Falls, New York, to try to make a donation to their fundraiser, which is an auction. We can also do live events and ask any questions that you might have. There could be, like we're doing here, a back and forth exchange. Facebook and live Zoom, I think we're all used to doing those. A donation page, which we have online, but we could, if we have public people participating, again, PayPal and Venmo are used by many organizations for donations of to observe the cooking class or participate in the dessert of the month type of course. Next slide, please. Next slide. A virtual tour, this is very interesting. What you would have paid for your cost of your ticket to go to the museum, you would prepare in advance if there was a specific display going on at the museum, like the mummy display is going on right now at the Buffalo Science Museum. People could pay in advance to go online and see the virtual display, and have the person from the Science Museum give a talk about and take you through a little bit of a walk through the Science Museum display that is going on at that month. Also, art galleries have many times a featured artist coming in, and people do not have to leave their home to be able to observe that featured artist. These would be recorded in advance, but the people would pay what they would normally pay to go to that museum, the price of the ticket. Musicians, sometimes we could, or another suggestion would be getting one of the harpists or one of the performers, possibly a local group, to have a small concert benefiting the fellowship. And the people, again, would be asked to purchase a ticket. They could go online, of course, and purchase their ticket in advance. As we know LunaFest is right now going on. Ticket sales are going on for LunaFest right now, which we are fairly familiar about in District 4, where we see several movies that are all either about women or by women. And they are also conducting a silent auction with that event. That's another very successful one. In a side note, right now there seems to be people are hungry to do something or see something, and they are spending the money. Our wine raffle right now, people just send out a quick email to friends and neighbors and relatives just saying, we're doing our annual. Would you like to buy a ticket to win a case of wine or a restaurant gift cards? And they send you the check and you just send them a picture of their tickets. We have never sold as many tickets. We're at 900 tickets being sold for a case of wine. And I didn't buy them all because I like wine. But just to tell you, people do have the finance right now because they're not being able to go to movies and different things that they may have enjoyed in the past. So there is, the opportunity is there. We just have to take advantage of it. Next slide, please. We could have you could have a past Amelia Earhart Fellow speak, a person that had won. I think it's just outstanding that the Nobel Peace Prize winner is a past Amelia Earhart Fellowship winner. That's just incredible that Zanta really focused in on such an outstanding woman, and to have a speech for your meeting. There may be a way that you could have this virtual presentation done. A popular professional person, I know Mary Younkerson on this call, and there are several people that she also has been in contact with that historically could talk about the landing of Amelia Earhart locally in Western New York with her plane. The youth speaker give a younger member of the community the opportunity to talk about the issue. I think that would be great if they would like to talk about women in science and how many opportunities they have now as far as colleges that they would be going to, or the impact of, let's say, an issue on space that they're researching or very interested in, maybe high school or junior college or four-year college, that they feel concerned about from the changes in our atmosphere as far as weather or space junk that may be out there, that they may be interested to talk to you about their projects that they're working towards. The virtual race is what is happening right now, being in November, is that all across the United States, I'm not sure about Canada, but they do the turkey trot, and it's a run, and it's a 5K run, and everything is being done virtually this year for the turkey trot. But you could also do a walk, or you could do a bike-a-thon. You could set a destination. It could be from your house to, say, the governor's house. How many days would it take you to get to Janice Dermis's house? You would log it. How would you log it? You could log it either on your treadmill, you could log it on your Fitbit, and record it, and there would be a website for you to submit your time and your distance. Of course, we would be asking you to register, which you would pay a fee to do that registration. But for keeping us moving, because we are not moving during this COVID time, this sounded like a real good possibility to help people stay healthy and also help raise money for the fellowship. Next, please. The barbecue dinners in Western New York are just so huge and so big. I wouldn't have to explain these to you if you were from Buffalo, but we have several Chavetta's chickens or Wiedmer's chicken places that actually cook the dinners on the spot in front of a local Lowe's or grocery store. You pull up in your car, you pay for your chicken right there, and a portion of the proceeds from the dinner that is already cooked by this company will come back to you. I've heard everything from $2 to $6 in US dollars per dinner that you sell. If you think about that, if you had 500 dinners sold, that if you made $6 a piece US, that is quite a good, generous amount that could be donated to the fellowship. And they cook the dinners. They put them together in a to-go box. They put them in nice plastic bags. And you're there just basically many times just to collect money. They have their own credit card system, so you don't have to purchase the credit card. We have so many places that will do the barbecues in Western New York. We just had a new barbecue place open that will do beef brisket, pulled pork, ribs, and what you charge depends on how much you make. If you charge $13 for the chicken barbecue dinner, you could make $3 on that. If you charge $14, you can make 5 or 6. It depends how much you would set the price for the to-go dinner. You never get out of your car. They walk the dinner over to your car. It's all packaged up by them. And it's very popular in this area. Could you pre-sell tickets? Yes, of course you could. You could say, I already have 150 orders for chickens, but people driving by will maybe purchase one too. So you kind of make an estimate on their past experience. Lastly, meat raffles are very popular in Western New York area. I'm not sure in Canada, Holly had not heard of these, but you find a grocery store or a local butcher or meat store. And this is a little more complex because there has to be a big wheel where they spin the wheel and the number comes up. I know several of our summer camps for handicaps, young people have been running meat raffles. I have not participated in one. Everything that I read is that there are companies that will actually run this for your club. And again, the numbers are drawn and then you go to the meat market or the grocery store, whether it's Tops or Publix or whatever, and you pick up what you won right at the grocery store. You do not have to be present when they're spinning the wheel, but you can be virtually on to see the numbers coming up, and they would also notify you if your number came up. There usually is a live stream virtual event going on. Usually the person that is spinning the wheel is very animated and personable. So you stay tuned in because they're doing kind of some small events along the way to keep you involved until the next raffle. And there's several raffle or rounds within the evening when they're doing the drawing for the meat. That's just a couple virtual ideas that I have seen locally and that have been very successful. Thank you.
Hi, this is Lori.
Oh, hi, Lori. Great.
And we in Erie, PA, Amelia Earhart has been, we've been very passionate with Amelia Earhart for over 30 years, where we do a event. Years ago, we wanted to get the students involved in the community. And this is one way that we have been able to do. The last few years, I have been in charge of the event, and I work with all of the county schools. There's 17 county schools in Erie, or not county, yes, county schools in Erie. And I send out to the guidance counselors, we have a criteria, and they get together with teachers, principals, and they submit 2 students. Sometimes they're 2 girls, sometimes it's a boy and a girl. And we, in the past, have had a dinner. And we can typically have 150 people for this dinner, where their parents, their grandparents, their teachers will come. It's a big event, and we've been very proud to hold it. Well, we were planning last year's, and then COVID hit. So what we had done last year is we had gotten gift cards in the community, and we do make up a certificate for the winners, and we sent out a packet to each single one for the event. And we usually allow about $1,000. We pay for the students for their dinners, and then anything over that they pay. So it usually costs us about $1,000. Now, when we did it last year for the gift cards, because we had given each student one a gift card, the expenses were about $500. I did submit 2 years of reports, so you can kind of see the breakdown of what we do for cost-wise. We're trying to come up with something a little different this year to make it even a little more exciting than just passing out those. I just mailed the packets to the winners. Haven't come up with that yet, so I will let Holly know when we do. But we always thought that it was a good thing to get people, students, thinking about, what they're going to be doing, to talk about Amelia Earhart. We do get in touch with the museum, so we're able to put brochures about Amelia Earhart. When we did have the event, we would even play a game about Amelia Earhart. And so people can be thinking, if they do want to go into that field, they can apply for the scholarship. So this is just a way to get the younger folks involved. Thank you.
Thanks. Lori, I think the next slide asks about questions. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So, Lori, I have a question for you. When I was looking at the presentation, I wondered the 2 students that get the prizes, because there's many students, like there's 2 students from each school, and then you pick from those students 2 that get the prizes. Is that correct?
The scholarships, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times we'll give the 2 scholarships, and we have a bin. And the last few years, we just have everyone's name in the bin, and we do 2 drawings.
Oh, okay.
Now, in the
That's
past, we had a committee. They went through each and every and read all the credentials, and some of these teachers and principals will write letters. It was very, very long process to choose, because they all have, 4.0 or so. The last few years we've just been easy, and we just draw the names.
That sounds much easier. That's
Yeah.
great. So I want to thank Donna and Lori for putting together this presentation, and I wonder, are there any questions? Connie, I see your hand.
Thanks, Ted. Great information from all of you. Couple questions to start with, Holly. When you received the fellowship way back then, what kind of difference did it make to your life? And then another question, isn't our international president a 2-time Amelia Earhart winner?
Yes, you are right on. Yes, you're right about Sharon. She is a 2-time Amelia Earhart Fellowship winner. She received hers about the same time I did, which was in the mid-70s. And I believe that Sharon was the first woman at the University of, I think it was the University of Missouri, to receive a PhD.
Ah.
So it's fabulous. For me personally, it made a big difference for me. I did my graduate work in Britain, and it was in the mid-70s, and having that fellowship meant that I did not have to take any student loans. So that was really something. And I was able to live in London at the time and not have to go on student loans.
Terrific.
So it was
Thank
very significant.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays, of course, graduate school, especially if you're in the United States, is very expensive. And the fellowship will not cover tuition and living expenses, but usually what it allows the fellows to do is perhaps buy a new computer. It can permit them to travel to conferences or to travel to work in another lab. So it's still it has a significant impact on their lives.
Thank you.
May I speak? I know you can't see me.
Of course.
It's Mary Yunker, if anybody's on the phone connection. Holly or Donna or Lori, anybody, what's the present plan in our district for how many scholarships we hope to raise money for per year or during the whole biennium?
Well, that's a question. Like in the past for the biennium, we've raised 2, I believe, 20,000, which is awesome. And I think we're one of the few districts that does that. But I really don't know what's going to happen this year with COVID, because the membership is down, and I'm hopeful that we can raise at least 1, if not achieve the 2 again.
But is that per year or per biennium?
Per biennium.
Okay, thank you. And Donna, great presentation on all those fundraising ideas.
I think what's the most important is that we stress in our clubs, you do not have to leave your home to run a fundraiser. By and large, it can be done virtually and be very successful. I think that people say, oh, we're not going to raise any money this year. We can't do a large group, or we can't. But yeah, yes, you can. And like I said, our wine raffle is the most successful we've ever had, ever, in all the years that we've been doing it. So to do something virtually, I think District 4 is just doing a great job overall fundraising virtually. I participate in all of them.
That's a good point, Donna. I must say that I'm not sure how the laws work for lotteries in Ontario, but I know that our club has been investigating getting a license to run raffles in the public. So we're trying to get into that as well. But I think our laws are slightly different.
The Santa Club of Niagara Falls, New York currently has their online auction going on. And I don't know how that also, as far as Canada, US, you place your own bid. They tell you what the product is, or you see a picture of the basket or the product and what the value is. And then you place your bid that you're willing to bid for it. It runs for a full week, so you can go back and forth. If there's something you really, really are focusing in on, you can go back and rebid again.
And
So
yeah, I'll look into it. I just don't, well, how would we get it over here? But I guess
Well,
I can.
it hopefully is perishable. If it's a bottle of red wine, it'll hold.
Yeah, that's true.
One of the fundraisers that I participated in that might be good, a suggestion for Amelia Earhart or anybody, is that it's a gift card, and you would purchase a gift card for each day of the choose a month, and each day in that month you raffle off a different gift card. And in that, we have it online. It's through Facebook, and they do a virtual raffle. They draw the names. But you have about 35 people that can go in for one gift card. So if there's I don't know, like the Target or Kohl's, you could, you put your number in. Their tickets were they were only $2 a ticket. So you would choose, I want the Target gift card on November 7th, is when it's going off. 35 people have a chance to win that gift card. And, it's kind of interesting. You just went through and picked out the gift cards you wanted. Some of them were from, the area, and they were local. And then there was a lot that wasn't. But it was an easy way to do it. You just went in, picked your gift cards, and if your name came up on that day, you won the gift card. And it's easy to mail too.
Yes. 3 o'clock at the dome. Oh, okay, it'll be warm inside.
Connie, oh, there you go. Okay. So these are all great ideas, and I hope that people, well, we can post this presentation on the District 4 website as well, and if clubs have questions, we'd be happy to answer any questions that they want. And you can use this presentation for the January meeting or talk about it at your January meeting. We've got lots of other information about Amelia Earhart and the fellowship as well. So please encourage your clubs to contact us.
Thank you, Holly and Donna and Lori, for the presentation. I think it's a great idea, and I hope that clubs will use it for their January meeting or another meeting to discuss more about Amelia Earhart and raise funds for the fellowship, because with having a Amelia Earhart fellow in D4, it's a little more special and a little more something that we can talk about and raise more money for. So I thank everybody for attending and taking time out of their evening to learn more about Amelia Earhart. And if there's not any other questions, have a good evening, rest of your evening. Donna, don't drink too much wine. Lori, don't drink too much wine.